God damn it. Sorry, you're gonna have to edit that.
Oh,
I looked at him and I was like, oh, what is freaking out? My name is Eve.
My name is Sarah.
And we are the Perfectionist.
That was a questioning statement.
I couldn't remember. I don't know what we were doing. Today on this week, we're going to chat about unpopular opinions. But before we swing into that...
Oh, we're going to do this again, aren't we?
We're going to try to do it. I was proud that I came up with it.
I like it. I like the phrasing. Yes.
Sarah, what was your surviving moment of the day, of the week?
My surviving moment? My husband is sick. Need I say more? He's literally like that Vicks commercial where it's like, Aaron, call my mom. And he was just like, at the point where he was so whiny and out of it, it was like having a 13-year-old boy in the house who just wanted to play video games and wanted everybody to leave him alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your thriving moment of the week?
I went to hockey several times and my kid's super improving, which was great. And I had the self-motivation to actually like get a bunch of shit done that I have not had the motivation to do in the last like month. And I was like, even though I didn't get it all done, I did a really great job.
You never asked me.
No, I wanted to wait. That's why I was staring at you. Eve, what was your survive and thrive this week?
My survive was currently it is quite cold and I have really bad jump pain due to my hemochromatosis and I couldn't really move off the couch last night.
Oh dear.
Because of this pain. Heating packs, rice packs are my best friend in the winter, just to, warm up the joints.
Oh, we should get you a heated throw from Costco.
I have a heated throw.
Of course you do.
Mom got it for me for Christmas last year.
Are you really?
Yeah, so when I was anemic.
Oh, nice. Not nice to the anemic part, but nice to the heated throw part.
My thriving moment of the week was...
I know it's only Tuesday, but I mean, like, if we include the long weekend.
I have to say the way that I moved my room around. I made a raining duck.
I love a good room move around.
So I made my own bed in the summer, and it's quite large and it's quite high, so I can't really do the usual of, like, moving my bed around. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to figure out ways that I could edit my room to be better without being, like, taking apart everything.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like I need to have it closer today because I'm not super loud.
I'm like, I'll put it this far away. This last time, had it too loud, and I had to lower my voice because I was too loud.
So, if you haven't seen this on the TikTok or anything,
or Pinterest, or Instagram, or Google, or YouTube's.
Not from Google.
It's everywhere.
It's called Unpopular Opinions. So it's basically where you make a statement and then we'll both discuss the statement. I suggested that we both don't share though, just so we can get our genuine reactions.
Yes.
I'd say about 3 of mine are related to food.
Oh, I did like a giant fucking list, so we could keep going if we wanted to.
I know. I was like, oh, we can do like 5.
Yeah.
And then I was like, just kept going.
Like I have like over 20.
Oh, I was like, I stopped at 8 because I was like, well, like, she does 8 too. I don't know how long they'll take.
Yeah.
So do you want to start us off?
Sure. Jelly beans and jubes are the most disgusting candy on the face of the planet. They're like the ones that look like stumpy Jell-O molds, and they're just like hard gelatin. And jelly beans, they have no fucking flavor. I swear to God, they just all taste like lime. Like manufactured Mr. Clean lime. And they stick in my teeth, and I don't like that. Mm-hmm.
I've never really thought about jubes that much.
Okay, so my husband really likes them, and so does my brother-in-law, and they're like, here you go. And I'm always just like, maybe I don't have a fresh one. Maybe they'll taste it. Every time I'm like, why am I eating this? This is gross.
So you even made a whole game about jelly beans. That's what I don't get. I was like, oh.
Yeah, because everybody just wants to stick them in the jar. Nobody wants the jelly beans.
Also, you always love that they're like, it's not even like the Boom Boozled ones. They're like, nobody wants like the Tutti Frutti.
No. They're gross. I don't like them.
My first one is, if you hear me typing, it's because I have just thought of a couple more while I was sitting. Gelatinous foods are gross.
Oh yeah, no, you've never been a gelatinous food person.
I despise putting in Jell-O. I think it's the grossest thing on the face of the planet. So bad. And so in my course, we had to work on like gelatinous foods, and you had to try different diets and stuff. My professor told me that if I didn't eat the pudding, that I would fail the assignment. And I ate the pudding and I vomited for like 2 hours.
Why the fuck would you make somebody eat pudding?
The other options, there's so many other options. Applesauce.
Yeah.
Anything.
Anything that's easy. You mean easy, like that, what is it called? The brat diet stuff? Is that what they were kind of going for, or no?
Well, it's really like nectar thick, like thickened.
Easy to digest.
Yeah, easy to swallow.
Yeah, applesauce is like a way easier to go to, and it's not gross. Yeah.
And it was so gross. And like, it's so, why would you want something that jiggles?
I actually like Jell-O, but very, very rare occasions. What I like to use Jell-O for is I like to put it in popsicles because it makes them less drippy.
Okay, so like the flavor of Jell-O is okay. So like you can put it in popsicles. You put it in that. Sometimes people put the liquid in like cake, but it's the solidified Jell-O that gets me.
Yeah, no.
And same with pudding. Like, it's so goopy and gross.
I love pudding.
It's so gross.
I love a pudding moment. It's not like I eat pudding all the time, but I love like pudding or like custard. Sure, like that.
Gelatinous. It's like, it feels like, you know, those like diet culture shows that they're like, this is 5 pounds of fat. And
yeah,
that weird gelatinous thing.
I'm never going to be able to eat vanilla Jell-O again after thinking of that.
But that's what I think of. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, that's gross.
It's disgusting.
That's what I think curds look like. Curds? Like curds. Like,
cheese curds?
Like poutine curds. Yeah. Yeah. They look like those little fat things that they pile up on those shows. I can't eat them because they're made out of dairy, but like.
No, I just instantly think to fucking Jell-O.
Yeah.
And pudding.
Okay, so you're going to agree with me on this one? Nickelback is fucking awesome.
That's not an unpopular opinion.
It's a super unpopular opinion.
Really?
So you either love Nickelback or you hate Nickelback. And I've seen it all over the internet.
Why do people hate Nickelback?
Because of the way that Chad Kroeger sings. And he's like, this is how you remind me. And I was like, that was like every fucking band in the early 2000s. Huh? Like, what's the other one? My arms wide open. Creed. There you go. And like stylistic voices. So like Pearl Jam and Green Day. Like I love all that shit. So my unpopular opinion is that I love Nickelback.
Oh, I didn't know it was an unpopular opinion.
Oh yeah. I get served fucking shit all the time on the internet. And I'm like, fuck you.
Like that.
Or I'm like, I gotta go full clothes anyways. And I put Nickelback on and I always start with, look at this photograph. Because I love that song.
Yeah, I didn't know that people didn't like it.
Oh yeah, no. Seriously.
My next one is, it's not a food related one, is the attitude of that's just how I am, take it or leave it, is a sign of inability to adapt and immaturity.
One more time.
So when people have the attitude, that's just how I am, take it or leave it, I think it's a sign of inability to adapt or immaturity.
I also feel like that's people's way to be like, stop talking.
I just feel like when somebody says that and they're like, take it or leave it, it's very like A or B.
It's very much like, oh, that's just how I think about it. It's like, well, we're still people. In my way, I always see it as we're still two people living in the same country, even if, and we can still be friends, even if we have two different political parties that we follow. Or when it came to the COVID things.
I feel like it's just very much like, and it's usually incorporated into conversations where it's not like, I prefer chocolate over vanilla.
Yeah.
It's just how I am. It's usually like, well, like, that's not really an appropriate statement to make in this circumstance. Well, that's just how I am, take it or leave it. And it's immature.
I know, it's like the rudest cutoff. I totally agree with that.
Or secondary. Well, like, in my defense, or I was just joking, or those statements piss me off so much.
When people say, I was just kidding. I'm like, no, you weren't. You started something, and in my opinion, you don't know how to fucking end it. So that's how you're trying to end it.
It's just like you want to say something, but you're just, oh, well, I was just kidding. No, you purposely said something to injure somebody's feelings and just shut up.
Or there's people who do that when they end up reading the room after what they said and they realize that nobody else feels the same way. And then they discount their opinion, being like, oh, well, I was just kidding. No, you weren't kidding. You were trying to talk to your friends about something and they shut you down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one.
That's what? Oh, controversial opinion. That when someone goes to buy your wedding ring or engagement ring, the guy is supposed to save up 3 to 6 paychecks worth in order to buy it.
Okay, I didn't know that people thought this was a thing.
It's grotesque. First off, I know people who were married for years and they had $20 gold rings from fucking Sears. Yeah. And they replaced them when they were married for 15 to 20 years. I can't remember. It was somewhere within that range. And they got like just the new version of this simple gold band. Like you don't need to have these like outrageous loud wedding rings. And they don't need to have diamonds in them. No. I'm also allergic to my wedding ring, just to let everybody know.
Also, I feel like when people are like, oh, this is the ring that I have, this is the ring that I have, and they always like make it seem like it's a like, oh, well, they got like their grandmother's ring, like that's a cop out. Oh, well, you're gonna get me my real ring, right?
Oh yeah, or this like upgrading at all times. Like, have you seen it?
Where the stacks
when people
they have kids?
Yeah, when people like upgrade them. Like, just in my opinion, that's not something that I feel that is needed. Also, I have like a replacement wedding band. I got the Pandora gauntlet ring. It's starting to wear off now, so now I'm becoming allergic to it. I still have the thing in my ring, but I feel like even if you're married, you don't have to wear a wedding ring.
I feel like you can. There's like you rent the silicone ones.
Yeah, like I have silicone ones. I actually have an exact dupe from Claire's of my ring.
See, like I like the idea of the symbol of marriage.
Yeah,
and like wearing a ring and stuff. Obviously, I'm not married, but I don't understand how people wear them, and like they're like chill about it. Because I'd be like, I'd be terrified.
Oh yeah, no.
My next one is, I don't have time as a bullshit statement. You chose to use your time for other opportunities. Those are like things that you had to do.
Yeah.
Other opportunities. Like when people are like, oh, I just didn't have time. And I hear it like constantly. And I'm like, if you're setting the expectation for somebody else to do it, and there's a specific, oh, well, I just didn't have time. Why? Oh,
I'll always tell people why in the way that you said it. I get what you mean. Where it's like, why didn't you have time to do that? I just didn't have time. And it's like, well, what did you do instead? That's none of your business. Which I understand. It's like, I don't need to know what everybody does, but it's just kind of like, is there something else I can help you with in order to do that thing? Or,
well, like if there was like a due date for something, like we don't have due dates for the business, but if it was like, I had my stuff done and I was like, okay, Sarah, you need to have this done by Wednesday.
Yeah.
And Wednesday she hadn't even gotten started and looked at me and said I didn't have time. I would want to bite her head off.
I would have looked at you and said I fucked up and didn't get it done.
But there's a difference between like obviously putting it aside.
Yeah.
And just like flat out lying that you didn't like. You could forget about something.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, I forgot. Like I'd rather someone say like, I forgot about it versus that, oh, I just didn't have time for it. And then you like see them on social media and they're like partying and you're like, excuse me.
That drives me nuts.
It drives me through the wall.
Okay. Are we ready? This is a controversial opinion, especially in my household. Seaweed is fucking gross. Sushi is gross. And the fish flakes that you get with all of that stuff ruins everything.
I only like sushi in deep fried tempura rolled chicken teriyaki rolls. Your child last week ate seaweed when mom picked her up.
Mm-hmm.
And I hugged her and she breathed in my face and I fully gate in your child's face.
It smells like low tide. And it stings up the whole fucking car. Low tide is when the ocean, that was the ocean. So there's like high tide when it's like rolling in, and low tide is like when it's like slowly going out. I could be describing this wrong. Anyways, it just smells really fucking bad.
But it's like
it's basically when like all the seaweed's left and it's like baking on the beach.
Oh my God, it's so gross.
Yeah, I know.
And like whenever like obviously I love her and she'll be like, "Can you open my seaweed, auntie?" And I'm like,
yeah, no.
My next one is people rely on technology too much and are afraid to break out and do something outside of their phone.
Oh, yeah, no, I totally get that.
I think, like, you know, people are like, oh, teenagers are on their phones too much. And then, like, the millennials come in and they're like, well, we have 5 side hustles and we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. That's not saying that you can't do that. That's saying that, like, maybe when you go outside and your child, like, this is going to be a secondary popular.
Yeah.
My biggest frustration as somebody who doesn't have kids and constantly has to listen to like people on social media bitching about having children is when I go to the grocery store and you either are on your phone and not paying attention to your child, or you just hand them your fucking phone all the time.
I understand doing it in some aspects, but when they're on it all the time, like you can see a difference, especially if you get to know kids. You can see a difference. And then the frustrating thing from a parent perspective is when someone turns and looks at you and goes, I don't understand why they act that way or whatever. And you want to look at them and be like, get them off of the fucking device, or don't let them have this because that's your opinion. But they're really not asking you for help.
No, they just
want to bitch.
But the same point is like, I hear so many people, and I said to Mom, and I know this is probably a very controversial opinion, all of these people who constantly make it their brand about bitching about having children, I personally would just love for all of them to get their children taken away for a week and just see what they do outside of that. Because kids should have the same level of respect as you do for adults.
Yeah.
If you're constantly bitching about your child to the internet, what happens if, like, in 10 years, like, I'm not saying that, like, mom and dad didn't complain about me as a child, but, like, what if in 10, 15 years, that's on the internet forever?
That's the difference.
And, like, what if they're, like, 18, 19, and they're like, oh, did you see this throwback video? And it's of your parents going, oh, my God, my child is the most grotesque kid I've ever met in my entire life. I don't even know how we're related.
That's the whole thing, too, is, like, I always think if something's being put into, like, the universe, which I think of, like, the internet. Somebody's being put into the universe, like, when she gets older, she can try to look at me and be like, what the fuck, Mom? This person found this about me. Like, once it's on the internet, even if you hit delete or whatever, it's on there forever. And I think that's, people think of, oh, if I just hit delete or if I do whatever. No, technically it's, like, still in Google. It's still a lot of things. And like you said, it's the bitching about kids. I understand, like, parent humor where they're doing stuff. And there's accounts who do it in, like, a cute way. Like, there's this couple that I watch. The guy looks like Blippi.
Oh.
Yeah. And he'll be like, why I think this is what our children did today. Here's our recap of the week. But then they do things like why children should be the marketers of the world and name things. And then they come up with, like, the funny... There's an equal balance because it's not really, like, making fun of kids. They also make fun of themselves as parents. It's like you said, when their only brand is bitching about their kids and saying all this shit about their kids all the time. I'm like, first off, that's out there forever. Second off, let your kids have a fucking go. $10, they have shit to say about you. And I just don't understand this, like, constant negativity. Because, like, kids are great. Sure, like, you can be really tired and be like, man, this was a long weekend. Like, I'm really excited for my kid to go hang out. But you don't have to say it in a certain way. You know what I mean?
Well, like, you can say, like, oh, I'm very glad because my kid went and hung out, so I was able to do, like, a bit of, like, a reset routine.
Yeah.
That's not saying that you can't be, like, burned out as a parent.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, don't constantly make it seem like
Like, no wonder people don't want to have fucking kids when all people do is say all this terrible shit online about them.
Oh my God. Like, they're like, oh my God, my child did this, my child did that. And like, a lot of what people don't realize is kids are essentially copycats of their adults. So if like kids hear parents fighting, they're going to start fighting with their parents because they heard that as the norm. Or if you hear like, oh, well, I make dinner by this time, kids are going to say that they're hungry at this time because dinner's always ready at 5.
Also, kids are kids and let them be kids. They're not tiny adults. Yeah. That's easy. After that heated subject. Here's my lame ass one. Ketchup is fucking disgusting. It is the grossest condiment on the face of the planet.
I would like to raise that with cold ketchup is a gross condiment.
So to me, ketchup is gross. And then my husband was watching that food history show about ketchup, which I kind of like heard about this before, but it was literally made out of like all of these horrible fucking things in order to cover up the rancid meat that people were eating. That's why ketchup was invented. And it originally had sawdust in it. For fiber.
Like, I don't mind like lukewarm ketchup. I know that sounds really weird, but like I find that cold ketchup's gross, but like a lukewarm ketchup on like a really warm burger, yeah, that's good.
Let me throw you for a loop, but I like ketchup chips because it tastes different.
Yes and no. I feel like because you get the crunch of the potato. So I feel like if I put like ketchup on potato chips, you'd be more open to it.
I don't know. I just don't like it.
Also, ketchup chips are sweet. I don't know why they're sweet.
I think that's why. That's probably why I like it more. Even though I love vinegar, I think that's the whole thing. Is it's just like a little bit different. Also, it's in powder form. But yeah, I will eat the shit out of those Old Dutch baked ketchup potato chips. Specifically, they brought them back only at gas stations. So you guys spend like $6, but I wait till they go on sale and I walk up to the petrol.
The next one is people who don't smoke deserve fresh air breaks.
Oh, I did this at my work.
So, you know how people go out and they're like, oh, I have to go out for a smoke, and they're gone for like 10, 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. I don't have an issue with that.
That is your personal choice.
My thing is that because I have chosen to not partake in the cigarettes, I should be able to go outside for 5 or 10 minutes for fresh air.
Or just a screen break.
Yeah. Like, I should be able to take that time and just like, I'm not saying that I'm going to go leave for an hour. I'm just saying like, oh my God, I need a bit of a break. I'm just going to sit there for 5 to 10 minutes and drink my coffee because I just need a little bit of like a stress reliever.
I think that every hour that you're at work, you should have 10 to 15 minutes to do whatever the fuck you want that is not your job. Just to break and allow yourself to have like a mental break.
I think
I'd rather have that than have a 15-minute break or a 30-minute lunch hour. I would rather have 10 to 15 increments to break up my day so it doesn't feel like one long day of monotonous bullshit.
I think I'm supposed to have 2 15s and a 30.
Yeah.
But I don't. I usually just loop it all on one because it's inconvenient for my job.
I was about to say, you're in healthcare. You guys even get breaks?
Sometimes. But like, I think I wouldn't say like to every hour. I'd say probably like
every 2.
Every like 2 hours, and I'd say like 5 to 10 minutes. I feel like,
yeah.
And that's like, you go outside, you stand there for 5 to 10 minutes, and then you go back inside.
Mm-hmm.
Just because then I feel like it resets you.
It does. I used to have reminders when I did like my remote job that was like very mini on the computer. And I just had a reminder to like stand up because I had a stand up. I had stand, stretch, and snack. So like go get a little snacky snack. Go refill your water. Like just take a break, walk away for a couple of minutes. And then I was maybe 5 minutes. Not ever anything longer.
No, and then at least you can like, yeah, we don't keep track of that, but like at least you're kind of resetting.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings is the most boring franchise on the face of the planet.
I wouldn't say it's the most boring.
Really?
I would say that.
Oh, you're going to say the one that I like?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you like this one.
Okay.
Star Trek. So fucking boring.
So there's many different versions of Star Trek. And when I was a kid, Star Trek The Next Generation with Patrick Stewart was amazing and like super interesting. There's new Star Trek that's come out. I personally just kind of like I wasn't like a Trekkie, but like I did watch it every week and I did enjoy it. But there's certain aspects where I'm like, what?
I feel like it's the DC version of Star Wars.
That is a controversial opinion. Janine, if you're listening, we love you.
Because like with Star Wars, again, don't fully get it. Not a huge fan. But I feel like you're more able to expand the world.
Yeah.
Like Lord of the Rings, I felt like I've only gone through the first one because one of my coworkers is a huge Lord of the Rings fan.
Oh, you got through what?
No, I got halfway through. I informed her that I had only made it to the scene where they pan up to the hills, and then I fell asleep.
Yeah.
And she informed me that is 2 minutes in.
I get about 15 to 20 minutes into Lord of the Rings before I fall asleep or start doing something else. Not playing on my phone either. This is like way before, because when I was in high school is when these came out, and people didn't really, phones weren't like they had flip phones and you like pay per text and all that other stuff. So like it wasn't really a thing. I would literally start reading a book, drawing, or just like cleaning. And if we were at like my guy friend's house, I was like, do you guys want to like play a board game while we watch this? I actually fell asleep in the theater because there was a bunch of people who were like, oh, we're going to go see Lord of the Rings. And it was like a cheap Tuesday. Mm-hmm. I was like, sweet. So I went, fell asleep 20 minutes in. And my supervisor, because there was a bunch of us when we were kids, hey, he woke me up and he's like, did you fall asleep? I'm like, we're right below the heater. And this is boring. And I crashed.
Which one did you think I was going to say?
Harry Potter.
No.
Oh.
I love the book.
I know you love the books, but I was talking, I haven't even read the Lord of the Rings books because of how fast I fell asleep.
I haven't either. I feel like it's a good outlook for like people who like more of the like foresty fantasy type vibes.
Oh, I'm gonna go a quick side thing off of this. Yes. Game of Thrones is terrible. It's terrible.
I've never watched it.
I got 15 to 20 minutes in, but the stuff that I saw and the things that happened in it are not my vibe.
I haven't watched it, so I can't partake.
Okay.
Next one kind of relates to the ketchup one.
I was like, I'm going back to food in my next one too.
Ranch is not the superior condiment.
No, it is not.
I would like to raise that mustard is.
I would always second that. You know that guy who's on TikTok who's obsessed with mustard?
Yes.
I love him, and I agree. I want to try the mustard Doritos. Yeah. I love every form of mustard. Like, evil laugh, because in her fridge where I come, I literally have smoky honey mustard, and I have a very specific deli mustard that I like.
Oh, no. Would we like to raise the time that before I was diagnosed with ADHD, Sarah once told me, because I would get this deli mustard and you couldn't find it anywhere, and she loves it. She told me, when you find it, buy 12. Buy like 12.
Yep.
So what I heard was, buy 12. Because I was like, oh my gosh, she wants 12 bottles of mustard. Yep. I showed up to her house with 12 bottles of mustard, and her husband had to go downstairs and pee because he was dying of laughter so much. But I was like, no, she asked for 12 bottles of mustard. And she was like, no, I love it so much I could have 12 bottles of mustard. But my brain was like, she needs 12 bottles of mustard.
But I used that 12 bottles of mustard within a year.
It doesn't go bad, though, for a while.
It has a date on it. No, I used it all within 12 months. It was every month I had a new mustard. I didn't even have to think about it. It was great.
I know, but like, I read the 12 of the freaking mustards.
I remember being like, oh my God, and also, oh my God. Hummus creations, such as chocolate hummus, chickpea cookie dough, are the same. They're gross and grainy.
Again, I have not had a lot of hummus or dessert. I thought dessert hummus was just glorified Nutella.
No, it's like fake Nutella, or it's just like everything is just hummus with shit in it. So it's like when people go, oh, chickpeas don't really taste like a lot, so you can mix them in with things like they say with tofu.
Yeah.
But like, I literally killed a food processor trying to make the cookie dough because it is a great dairy alternative as well. Like certain things that like I wouldn't normally eat, it's an easier way to do it. And they're all grainy and gross, like to the point where it's like putting cinnamon in your mouth and choking on it. Even if you blend it all the way down and it's apparently smooth. No. Yeah, I had to get a new food processor because I murdered it with the equal measurements of what I found.
I had to try hummus because I don't know what you're talking about. Mint and chocolate is terrible.
Oh, okay.
It's gross.
We totally disagree on this.
If I want to taste chocolate after I brush my teeth, I'll just go brush my teeth and eat a piece of chocolate.
Okay, so my favorite ice cream before I couldn't eat ice cream was mint chocolate chip.
It's green.
I also like...
Why is it that green?
I don't know.
I'm also allergic to natural peppermint. So, like, I can't have a lot of mint-based products because they have peppermint oil in them.
I also like After Eights. I love mint and chocolate.
Disgusting.
Fruit and chocolate is disgusting, in my opinion.
Specific, outside of berries. Berries and chocolate are okay.
I don't mind strawberries and raspberries if they're dipped in chocolate.
Yes.
Other than that, I don't want them.
Blueberries are okay.
Oh, the Brookside ones? Yeah.
Like
I have to be in a mood for those, though.
Anything in the berry forms, I feel like, is okay. But, like, Terrace chocolate orange is not actually made of oranges, though. Like, it's not chocolate covered orange.
I've never touched it.
I know. Pineapple chocolate feels gross. Bananas and chocolate.
A lot of people like that. I can't eat bananas because I'm allergic to them.
She's allergic to the fruit. She can have them cooked, though.
Yeah, I don't know. The allergist told me that.
You mouthed the banana bread.
No, I know that, but the allergist was like, "Oh yeah, the complete composition changes because they're high pollinous plants." Is it my turn now?
No, it's my turn. You were talking about fruit and chocolate.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I was talking about chocolate hummus.
I talked about mint and chocolate issue.
Yeah. Okay, Alec Baldwin and Robert De Niro are gross.
I'm trying to remember who Alec Baldwin is.
He's the guy who plays the creepy boyfriend in Cat in the Hat. That would have been your first memory of him.
It was like when I was 2. Yeah. I don't remember that too. I'm just going to look up who these people are.
Robert De Niro is that creepy old man who's always like, and he's got like a mole on his face.
Oh my god, Alec Baldwin's the dude that like shot the
Oh my god. Okay, no. This has been an opinion. I've mentioned this before in podcasts. So like ever since I was little, even before I could talk, I would like slap the TV anytime he was on the TV, and our mom thought it was super humorous. And I did the same thing for Robert De Niro. There's just something about them, and now there's a phrase for it, but like they give me the ick. I do not like them, and I never have.
Robert De Niro, I liked him in The Intern, but he wasn't, again, very part of my like childhood.
He was everywhere, and I find him I just find them like boring, and they always tell you the same thing, and they're just gross. Yeah.
Summer's the worst season. I have sent Sarah a TikTok because I have said how much I hate the summer months and that it gives me seasonal affective disorder. And I have only found one celebrity to agree with me, and it's Josh Fetcherson. And he came on and he was like, oh my god, the only thing that I hated the most, it was so hot and it was so bright. Like, if it's hot and bright, I just want to stay in bed all day because I'm just moping. But when it's raining, I'm like, let me clean my house.
Yeah, so I feel like summer almost makes me like lazy. I don't know. It kind of makes me like prioritize other things. I'm like, oh, I should be outside. I should be doing this. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on summer. And then it goes by and it's done. And I'm kind of like almost relieved when it comes to like back to school time. Not because I call it September back to school time, no matter if I have a kid or not. But it's like, I almost feel like after I have summer, and I've said this before in previous podcasts, it's like, that's where my year starts.
I just, like, there's so many things that I have an issue And like, I feel like it's the embodiment of a highlighter. Like, if we're talking stationery for months, it's a fucking highlighter. If you have the wrong highlighter and you're the one person who uses the neon yellow highlighter, you're insane.
I feel like there's a lot of like, there's like a huge push on like drinking in the summertime.
I feel like there's a drinking anytime. I feel like being extroverted is an expectation in the summer.
Yeah.
Being introverted is like, oh, it's cold outside. Oh, it's snowing. Sorry, I can't leave my house.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, there's nothing in the summer. Oh my God, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to paint. But then I need to go back inside because I've burned half of my skin off.
Or I feel like I'm going to vomit because it's so hot outside.
And then I'm so sweaty. And like, my friend at work said this. You can add layers.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many you can take off.
Oh, yeah. Before you're like, people are like, oh, it's just, but before you literally feel completely drained and you're like, I need to sit in my house with air conditioning. And then people are like, oh, don't use air conditioning. That's what's causing it. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure it's the extreme heat.
It also damages your eyes. It increases your likelihood of skin cancer.
Yeah.
And so many other things.
Oh, yeah.
Like, why would I enjoy that?
I have no idea. I'm very like give or take with certain things. I feel like I enjoy fall more, even though I literally feel like I enjoy spring and fall more, but my allergies are so bad in both that people kind of laugh when I say that.
I would say that I prefer, like, I would say that I probably prefer winter because it's consistently cold. So with summer, because it's extreme heat, my body gets used to the heat. So then when it gets cold in the fall and it's like back and forth between being cold and hot, my joints hurt so bad that I just don't want to move. And same with spring. So like winter is the only time, it's consistently and I'm just cold, but like I'm not constantly like, oh my God, I can't move.
My favorite thing about winter is when it snows and it's bright and sunny outside and we have blue skies where we are and it's just quiet.
Oh my God, the amount of pictures that we have taken during our winter walks.
Yeah.
We take one every year.
And it's just another level of quiet that I just really enjoy.
I feel like you can go for walks. And if people have issues with, it's getting dark. I have an issue with, I go to work, it's dark. I come home, it's dark.
Oh, I hate that.
But that's also my issue 90% of the year. Literally, except for in the summer. I come home, dark.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of okay with that because then I'm like, oh, I don't need to go out. I also feel like fall is better for planning because when you're sitting there and you're like, oh, I need to go grocery shopping, you're less likely to be like, oh, I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to go back and forth a million times.
Yeah.
And in the wintertime, you're like, oh, it's snowy, it's cold. I'm going to make a list. I'm going to make sure I spend time in the grocery store buying all the stuff that I need.
Yeah.
Instead of like, I feel like summer is over consumerism for like ingestible things, while winter is like things you can like clothing.
Instead of baking.
Again.
Okay. One Tree Hill is superior to Gossip Girl, and Gossip Girl is overrated.
I only watched Gossip Girl a couple of years ago. And I haven't gotten fully through One Tree Hill. I did have to take a little break due to a situation that occurred in One Tree Hill. I would also raise, though, that One Tree Hill is not the best show of the 2000s.
No, in my opinion, it's Buffy the Vampire Slayer, even though it's cheesy as fuck.
Oh, I was going to raise Supernatural.
Supernatural is really great. I think, Buffy was around longer.
Oh my God, so sorry. I forgot the most important show of my childhood.
Yeah.
And You Can Die of Laughter. Do you know what I'm going to say?
I feel like I do.
I'm starting to get my southern accent out. Reba McEntire's show was my childhood. A single mom who works too hard, who loves her kids, then never stops. Literally, I think that show and Gilmore Girls are better than One Tree Hill, though.
I'm just going to loop in this next one that I have because it's kind of related. I feel like shows in the early 2000s were a lot better than what the shows are now. That could just be my opinion and my perspective. I feel like, yeah, there was like things like sex drinking and all that other stuff. But I feel like now it's just like so out there that it's almost normalized and like expected of people and gives different expectations. Like the Netflix show Jenny and Georgia. I got 3 episodes in and I decided that was not for me. And people kept, what I was sold on was, this is this generation's Gilmore Girls. This is this. And I was like, fuck yeah, Gilmore Girls, I'm in. I started watching it. It is terrible. Georgia and Jenny are miserable. One of them is completely fucked up and needs 80 pounds of counseling. The other one is super fucked up and needs to be on some form of medication.
I don't think I fully watched it.
Yeah, no.
I think that the people who did like the shows in the early 2000s, you weren't as involved in their lives.
Yeah.
Versus now. Like, it was like scandalous, the stuff that happened with some of the One Tree Hill people.
Yeah.
But you don't hear about it now. I think a lot of people are hanging on to those shows and then also combining them with other shows that are like, oh my God, that can also raise unpopular opinions. Because 2 shows have minorly similar things does not mean they're, oh my God, it's this generation's Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, no.
That's this generation's this. I can watch Gilmore Girls now. I can watch Gilmore Girls forever. Is it the best show in the world? No. Is it the best thing ever? No. There's a lot of other shows that you can also watch, but I don't need 50 freaking remakes. Like, I know you love this show, but like, I watched How I Met Your Mother. I watched How I Met Your Mother. Do we need How I Met Your Father?
No, we don't, because they canceled it.
I know, but like, do we need How I Met Your Father? No. Are we going to need this? Are we going to need this?
Yeah, I know.
No. Just come up with better ideas.
Just come up with new ideas. Also, to end this point, the most underrated show of the 2000s is Heart of Dixie.
Also, you can't get it on like anything.
You can't get it on anything. It's great. Rachel Bilson is fucking amazing. And everyone keeps talking about the OC. I'm like, she did that when she was a tiny human. She did Heart of Dixie when she was an adult. And one of the guys from Heart of Dixie was actually in Jenny and Georgia. That was one of the reasons why I was like, I should watch it. No.
Didn't know that. My next one is, which kind of goes into streaming services. Social media and streaming services have dismissed our level of patience and contributed to the I need it now culture.
Yes. And then they decided to backpedal and start releasing stuff weekly.
So this is my thing. I grew up with the like majority of my life that I need to pee within the 30 seconds.
Oh, the commercial break. Yeah.
I'm very well aware of that. I feel like the first world problems that a lot of millennials complain about on social media are like
totally fine.
I'm like, why are you okay? Like, I had to do that too. Oh my God, we had to do this. Oh my God, we had to do this. Like, it's so much like, and I have an issue with TikTok. I know I need to get off it more. I'm going into my Pinterest era, but it's so much of like, oh my God, I don't like this scroll. I don't like this scroll. I don't like this scroll. Oh, if I hold it, it's going to go in 2 times speed. Oh my God, have you seen this? Oh my God, have you seen this?
Some people talk too slow though. I'm sorry.
No, but I had to sit down with Sarah, like, within last year, and I told her, I was like, you need to delete TikTok. You have an addiction. Because I opened my TikTok, and, like, within one night, I had 78 TikToks.
I don't think I slept that night.
No, but it was like, and I was like, you need to delete TikTok. You need to stop doing this. And it was about, like, a month later, and you were like, wow.
Hey everybody, this is Sarah. So it looks like we had a lot of unpopular opinions, so we're going to split this into part 1 and part 2 to come next week. Stay as warped and twisted as ever. Peace.